Hey there, story lovers. I hope you're doing great. I'm Alex, and today we're diving into some gripping tales from online forums. If you enjoy these kinds of stories, consider hitting that like button, subscribing, and turning on notifications. Let's jump into the first tale. Lots of love to you all. Our first story comes from user StoryPrawn22, titled, I, 28F, believe a nap destroyed my marriage to my husband, 30M. I'm a 28-year-old woman, married to a 30-year-old man. I might delete this post soon, but I need to vent. We've been married for less than a year, together for 6 years, and we have a 3-month-old daughter who's absolutely amazing. I'm a first-time stay-at-home mom, and my husband, while not unintelligent, struggles with emotional awareness. I've been harboring resentment since my pregnancy. His mother was cruel during that time, constantly bringing up miscarriages and stillbirths, even whispering "dead baby" when my husband wasn't nearby. She denied it. He acknowledged my pain, but nothing was done to stop her. After giving birth, my husband seemed oblivious to my struggles. While I was recovering in the hospital, he'd go home to sleep, claiming the hospital couch was too uncomfortable. I had to call him repeatedly to get him to return, because I felt so alone. When we were discharged, he asked me to carry things to the car, despite my condition. A nurse had to intervene, reminding him I'd just given birth. At home, he complained about his lack of sleep while I was grappling with breastfeeding and exhaustion. He was supportive of my nursing efforts, which I'll give him credit for, but the first 2 months were rough. I was constantly crying from sleep deprivation while he slept 8 to 10 hours each night. This led to frequent arguments because I couldn't handle hearing him say he was tired. His mother would visit, leaving messes for me to clean. On multiple occasions, he grumbled about the cluttered basement, so I helped him move heavy items which caused heavy bleeding. My doctor warned me against lifting anything heavy, but my husband kept asking for help, getting frustrated when I couldn't assist, and then sulking about it all day. Now, 3 months in, I feel our marriage is crumbling. We've grown distant since our daughter arrived, and I've lost interest in intimacy or affection. He keeps asking if I'm okay, and I just say I'm fine because I don't know how to express my misery. I tense up whenever he's near. Today he nagged me about walking our dog. I'm exhausted from breastfeeding and being up since 2:30 a.m. with the baby, so I couldn't handle another task. He complained but agreed to walk the dog, promising I could rest. I snapped, reminding him I hadn't slept properly in months. He got upset and stormed off, locking himself in his office all day. I spent the day sobbing from exhaustion. By 11 p.m., he still hadn't emerged, so I confronted him. He gave me the silent treatment, and I broke down, overwhelmed by his lack of support. I told him I hated him, wanted to leave with our baby, and even mentioned divorce. He calmed me down, apologizing for being selfish. When I asked what he'd been doing all day, he admitted he'd been napping. While I was struggling to stay upright, he was napping. I sobbed uncontrollably. He showered me with apologies and I love yous, but for the first time I couldn't say it back. Now it's 2 a.m. He's snoring beside me and I'm filled with resentment. I want to take my daughter and leave. Being a single mom feels easier than enduring this emotional neglect. What should I do? It's not just the nap, it's the final straw. It's him asking me to lift things after childbirth, complaining about his sleep while I'm running on empty and ignoring my struggles. His mother's cruel comments during my pregnancy, which he did nothing to stop, and the basement mess where he expected me to help despite my condition. It's all too much. As one commenter, Nutty Cream, said, "When you finally leave him, he'll be shocked, but you'll feel free. He's emotionally stunted, unable to empathize until you're breaking down. Apologies aren't change. This is exhausting and unsustainable. Leaving, even temporarily, might wake him up, but I doubt he'll change long-term." Another user, Cloudy Skies 9, called the marriage a nightmare, suggesting I should have left after the dead baby comments. They advised calling my support system, parents, friends, and asking for help, something my husband should have done. They suggested staying with a loved one or, if that's not possible, using his credit card for self-care like a nanny or a hotel stay to rest and shower. They emphasized that he failed me when I was most vulnerable, questioning how he could claim to love me while pushing me to the edge. A third commenter, Moonlit Wave, asked if I'd treat even my worst enemy this way. They pointed out that his support for breastfeeding was convenient since it required no effort from him. They argued he doesn't care about me or our baby, using her to keep me trapped and too tired to fight back. They urged me to leave or kick him out, saying we deserve better. I provided an update. We talked, or rather, I talked, and he listened. I told him I couldn't continue like this and that I was ready to take our daughter and go home. He saw the packed bags by my dresser and realized I was serious. I poured out my resentment. His mother's cruelty, feeling abandoned at the hospital and home, and how everything falls on me while he prioritizes his job. I realized I hadn't communicated my feelings clearly before, just bottling them up. He was defensive at first, but I warned him I'd leave if he made excuses. He listened, genuinely remorseful, apologizing sincerely only once. We made a plan. He'll handle dog walks permanently. His mother is banned from our home and from contacting me or our baby, and when he's off work, I'm off mom duties except for breastfeeding, which I love doing. My daughter's big hazel eyes and the way she pats me while nursing are magical. I'm typing this from a warm bath, promised a weekend to rest and pump milk instead of nursing. We have a stockpile of frozen milk, and he knows her routine and feeding amounts, so I trust he's capable. I hear him unloading the dishwasher now. We've planned a weekly date to reconnect as a couple, not just parents. We're starting couples counseling, I'm beginning individual therapy, and he's already in therapy. He grew up with an emotionally abusive father, unlike my supportive dad, which he admires but struggles to emulate. Admitting he's failing me and our daughter was hard for him. We're taking it day by day. My bags remain packed by the door as a reminder that leaving is an option. I'm hopeful but realistic. Our marriage may not recover, and that's okay. I need to care for myself, so my daughter has a happy mom. I've scheduled a postpartum depression, PPD screening, and my mom's visiting next month. My family is ready to welcome me home, with my dad offering to fly out if I need him. Thank you for letting me share. Later, I posted another update. I was hesitant to update because I felt overwhelmed. That original post captured me at my lowest, and I wish I could hug that version of myself. The comments were tough but necessary. I was diagnosed with PPD and anxiety soon after posting, and treatment has transformed my life. To new moms and their loved ones, check in on them. Even if you feel okay, prioritize your mental health. Your baby needs you healthy. Your feelings are valid, and you deserve support. As for me, life has improved. I know many urged me to leave my husband, but I'm happy, safe, and healthy, and my daughter is thriving. It's taken work, and it will continue to, but my husband has proven reliable. I expected him to fail, but he hasn't, and that feels incredible. People can change if they truly want to. My daughter is feisty like me, loves her dad, and we're learning to communicate better. Check on your loved ones. They may not realize how much they're struggling. Posting here pushed me to get help. In response to comments, I confirmed my husband has apologized repeatedly, acknowledging his selfishness during my most vulnerable time. He feels deep shame and often asks if I've truly forgiven him. It's uncomfortable, but I know it's necessary. Some criticized my choice to stay, but I posted to encourage others with PPD or anxiety to seek help, not to justify my decisions. Another user shared their experience surviving an abusive husband, hoping I could too. Some noted the timeline. My update came 2 months after the original post, and many cautioned it's too early to judge if he's truly changed. Looking back, the basement cleaning, solo parenting while he napped, and his mother's behavior were not PPD, they were his actions. There was a prior post about his mother's cruelty, but it's gone now. I wonder about our pre-pregnancy dynamic, but that's speculation. What are your thoughts? Share below. Now on to the next story from user LitMind789, titled, My wife wants to name our twins Romeo and Juliet. My wife adores Shakespeare and loves the idea of naming our twins Romeo and Juliet. I'm against it. Naming kids after a tragic fictional couple who die feels wrong. I like Juliet and suggested pairing it with Tybalt, her cousin in the play. She insists if we use Juliet, it must be Romeo. I've only read Romeo and Juliet, but I researched other Shakespearean sibling names like Ophelia and Laertes from Hamlet or Claudio and Isabella from Much Ado About Nothing. She rejected them, saying they're not iconic enough or the plays aren't serious. She's fixated on Romeo and Juliet. Individually, the names are nice, but for twins, they feel inappropriate. How can I convince her this isn't a good idea? Any Shakespearean name suggestions? Am I overthinking the symbolism? We're keeping the names a secret, so I can't discuss this with anyone else. Comments highlighted the issues with naming twins after famous lovers, including potential incest jokes and bullying. 3 days later, I updated. Thanks for the feedback. I didn't mention the incest concern initially because I didn't want to upset my wife. Her pregnancy has been tough, nausea, sleeplessness, cramps, and naming the twins is the only thing that's brought her joy. She's a Shakespeare enthusiast, having run a kids' Shakespeare club and seen Romeo and Juliet live. She suggested the names after rereading the play, and I hesitated but didn't push back because she was so excited. Over weeks, she grew more fixated. After posting, I asked why these names mattered. She said they symbolize grand love, which she wants for our twin sibling bond, and their iconic status would spark conversations with other parents. I was shocked. This didn't feel like her. Yesterday, I firmly said we couldn't name our kids after a famous couple and showed her the thread. She refused to read it and cried, asking why I couldn't let her have this. I confided in her best friend, who was horrified. She came over, they watched the 1968 Romeo and Juliet film with its intimate scenes, and it seemed to ground my wife. She's now open to my name suggestions, still wanting something Shakespearean and matching. She liked Sebastian but isn't sold on Viola. I'll give her time, as she's been very sick, but I won't let this go unmentioned later. Thanks for the reality check. In further comments, I clarified her illness, severe nausea, insomnia, and cramps, made naming the only joy in her pregnancy. We agreed she'd have the final say since she's carrying the twins, but I regret not addressing this sooner. Her fixation on trends is typical. She dives into hobbies intensely, then moves on. I'm not mad at her, just at myself for letting it escalate. No one else knew about the names as she wanted a surprise, which I spoiled by posting. Her family and doctors are nearby, ensuring she's cared for. Someone suggested Sebastian and Juliet, which she's considering since she wants related names, e.g. siblings or from the same play. 3 months later, I updated. Our twins were born last month, both healthy, and we're exhausted. We chose Sebastian Jacob and Juliet Elizabeth, inspired by Twelfth Night's Sebastian, Romeo and Juliet's Juliet, and the Jacobean and Elizabethan theater eras. Thanks to the commenter who suggested this, my wife loved it. After bringing the twins home, she saw them as individuals, not extensions of her interests, leading to these less obvious Shakespearean names. Her best friend, who provided crucial support, will be their godmother. Thank you all for the advice and suggestions. It helped immensely. I'm relieved we avoided Romeo and Juliet. The potential for bullying and awkward jokes was real. When I saw Sebastian, I jokingly thought of the Little Mermaid's sassy crab, but the Shakespearean connection works. What do you think of this situation? Share your thoughts below. A huge thank you for joining me today. Your support and time mean everything. I hope to see you in the next one. Take care and much love.